Welcome to AM Best Audio.
Data, analytics, and AI are force multipliers in the insurance industry these days. In fact, they're pretty much indispensable. I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine, and I'm speaking today to Arun Balakrishnan, CEO and founder of Xceedance. Arun, so glad you could join us
Thank you so much, John. Always nice to chat with you.
So, Arun, how should insurers be implementing advanced data and analytics to mitigate risk?
John, I think that's a two-part question, right? I think data is and analytics, I'll address it in a bit different ways. I think there's a lot of external data being generated today. There's a lot of publicly available data, which is different data than what's been typically used in insurance processes over the years. So companies should think about that from how it suits their product needs and what they're really going after and whether it really helps in risk selection or rating, and if it can be filed, if it's an admitted product. But the data solutions is a bit different. Now, analytics, on the other hand, there are two kinds, right? One is enhancing the data which you are collecting from different sources, being able to consume it properly, everything associated with that. And the second part is trying to decipher insights from it or predictions from it, which you build into your process, right? So I think those, when it comes to analytics, the first question companies should ask themselves is, would they be able to give it the focused attention required by their internal teams? Or is it something where they should partner with, external either platform providers or companies? And that's an important question because, many times you've seen companies give analytics projects as something to play with to their internal teams and don't often get the best outcome out of it. So when you're trying to adopt analytics into everything that you're doing, a good honest assessment of where your skill sets are today as a company would be useful. If there's a gap, how do you fill it? Either by hiring and building your own teammates or working with external parties or platforms. And I think there's no fixed answer for this, but that honest assessment is important to get the most out of these strategies for the companies.
What are the challenges insurers face integrating AI-driven risk analytics into their existing systems and processes?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest limitations are the legacy infrastructure, right? Or the legacy architecture of some of these applications. And sometimes a company might be very new and its systems are not that old, but they acquire a few other companies or MGAs, or there's some kind of integration of that sort. And, suddenly you have legacy infrastructure in your IT architecture. Now, the thing here, and most of the AI today, generative AI or others, is driven around trying to process information real time. Either it is from your own in-house data warehouses or external data. But the real value comes in as quick real-time integration, extraction, analysis, everything. And sometimes the erstwhile legacy architecture of these platforms tends to become a limitation.
Arun, how can insurers be assured of data quality?
I don't think, John, you can be 100% assured of it, right? And I would say, what does assured even mean? Assured means is it accurate? Around that, you can build some safeguards to get some assurance around, right? Or try to test it or validate it and everything. Whether that data is relevant is a different question altogether, right? So you might start collecting data on an insured's with his permission social feeds, right? Now, the accuracy of that cannot be debated because that's out there in public, but the relevancy of that could be debated, and how it's consumed, utilized, everything. So just because you have data doesn't mean it is useful. And just because there is useful data doesn't mean it's accurate. And if it's accurate and useful, then we should figure out some way to do it, use it at least.
Are there ethical considerations surrounding the use of AI in predictive analytics and risk assessment?
A lot, right? I mean, I think whenever we're talking on this topic, I make it a point to reinforce that I think pace is not important here, right? I think the FOMO which is going on of everybody trying to jump onto the bandwagon It's not necessary. I think it's a disruptive technology, can have a lot of impact. But in some of these things, pace is in being thoughtful and methodical, and measure thrice, cut once is better, because primarily around ethical considerations, right? Not to say that the AI models are giving unethical responses or things like that. We just need to be sure that it is catering to the environment we want it to be in, because the multiplier effect of anything going wrong is drastic, just given the efficiency of the platform. I was reading about this legislation or regulation which came out from the Colorado state around life insurers and their use of external data in their AI algorithms, and regulation around it. I see that as a positive sign. I think the regulators will have to play an important role in this. And I think if we as an industry body, in conjunction with the regulators, create the right kind of guardrails for safe adoption of AI and ethical adoption of AI, that's when we get a good, strong foundation built on which we can create an efficient and productive insurance industry that is, safeguarding us, that is protecting the risks in the society, and so on.
Arun, how important is transparency and interpretability in risk and analytics powered by AI?
I think it's important goes without saying that it's important, and I think it's important even without AI, right? And I think in certain things, I think this is where machines and softwares can have a bit more of an advantage, right? I mean, transparency, interpretability. If you look at the underwriting, you talk about large commercial book of businesses being underwritten, and you ask the underwriter sometimes, like, okay, why do you think this risk is bad, or why do you think this is good? And there are often empirical reasons they provide for it, but there's also some caveats around, I don't have a good vibe about it, I just don't know, I think I know that why there's a problem, and anecdotes like that. Whereas AI can be asked very clearly, why do you believe you recommended something? What are your sources? What is your logic? And there's a better auditability of the thought process, because the AI is not hesitant about sharing it, right? So in some ways, on those parameters, I think we'll come out better if with the ethical and safe adoption of AI.
Pretty interesting time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Arun, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much, John.
That was Arun Balakrishnan, CEO and founder of Xceedance. And I'm John Weber for Best Review Magazine.
Looking to get the attention of the insurance industry? We have the platforms to do just that. Whether it be AM Best TV, AM Best Audio, Best Review Magazine, or Best Day, find out more by contacting our Advertising Services Business Development Team at 908-882-1706.